Hello, how's everybody doing? I think I'm alone right now, but hopefully we'll have some folks join me here in a minute and we'll get this thing started. Here to talk about E for Youth and our support for local educators, providing college mentors, access to tours, and actually opportunity for you yourself as a teacher to earn access to South by Southwest. So stay tuned and we'll be with you in a moment. Why don't we pull up a video? Let's see here. Well, ain't nobody here but us chickens right now. Let's see. Hello. Just waiting.
When it starts to play this song, now you can't help but sing along. Even though you never heard it, you keep singing it out. This song will be your hobby. Changing the song, yes you gotta take it to you. This song's the one.
Hello. Hey, man. No worries. I'm on Google, but I'm by myself at the moment. So, no, nobody yet. I'm going to hang out for, 15 more minutes and then shut her down if nobody shows up. So, well, it's ready except for this water hose thing. That he's waiting for the part. So I'm not sure if he's going to get that today. So let's. I think I'm going to go pick it up, irrespective, like at 5, if that works for you. Why don't you? Can you think you get here like around 5, and just head over there? Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. You remember how to get here? Cool. All right. Okay. Bye bye.
This song's the one. This song's the one. Even when you're hard, you keep singing along.
Christian? Christian, I just got your message. I just sent you a link, and if you click on that, you should be able to join me on this. Hey, Christian. Hello? Are you on mute? Hello? Having trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah. What'd you do?
Um, I don't think so. Let me see. Let me join Hangout again.
You're good. You're on. You're on.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You're good. Hey, Christian, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for joining me. It's just me and you right now.
Oh, okay.
Hey, but it's all good. It's all good. I think it's always, you make use of the time that you got. I know a lot of teachers are busy right now,
Uh-huh.
but since you're here and I'm supposed to be here for the next 30, 40 minutes, why don't we go ahead and just do a little quick interview between the two of us? How's
Okay,
that
cool.
sound? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Christian, I met you, is it 5 or 6 years ago?
Yep, 2008, if I'm not correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
10th grade.
You're in 10th grade. So, tell me a little bit about what you were like back in the 10th grade when I met you.
Oh man, all the way back there, I would say I was pretty ambitious, but had no idea how to get where I wanted to go. That was actually my first year taking video technology, my film class. So the possibilities were coming there, but I had no idea what to do with them. So I was just really eager to, learn stuff from the class and take whatever resources were there and available for me. Um, I was really young, but I had a beard and mustache, so I looked older.
Yeah.
But it was very, very green, very amateur-esque, aspiring, if you would say that word better.
Right. Right. So, do you have a video on your Hangout? Can we see you?
I see you.
Yeah, but all I see is your logo.
Um, Let me see.
Are you on your computer?
Yeah.
So if you move your mouse up to the top, there should be like a camera icon.
Okay, turn camera on. Let me see. Do you see me now?
Not yet.
Oh, man, I've been working on computers for so long and they still get me. Let me try something here.
All right.
Let's see. Settings. FaceTime camera. Save.
We don't have to kill ourselves to do this. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. I mean, we can still get what we need to do done. Me talking to your icon.
Okay, yeah, man. I'm not sure how to get this working.
Okay. Well, I do remember meeting you, Christian, when you were just in 10th grade. I remember you had on a suit
Yeah.
that day. I
Yeah, it
remember you
was
had on a suit.
Fridays, man. We had formal Fridays, me and a few friends. So every Friday we dress up as nice as we can, and you caught me on a good day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, and I remember, I mean, we're both large black men,
Hmm.
so a lot of folks thought we could be related, like you were my son or something.
Yeah, actually, I was walking down the hallway, and someone from my class was like, "I thought you were in class already." I was like, "What? No, I just got here," and it was funny. It was too funny.
So they thought I was you, huh?
Yep, yep, few of them.
Crazy. I've also been told by professionals that you sound a lot like me, vice versa, when you talk.
Yeah, man. Even I've seen people like even when we like do public speaking, we even make the same gestures and everything, man. It's just
It's crazy, isn't it?
hey, we're just two professional, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Christian, it's interesting. I remember um, interviewing you back then after you finished kind of your first summer experience with us, and
Hmm.
you know, I remember you kind of talking about how you didn't know that all the. I mean, you always thought about maybe making movies and being creative, but you thought that you had to go to Hollywood to
Hmm.
do all that stuff. And it turns out that a lot of that stuff is right here in your neighborhood. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, that was really eye-opening, because watching, the movies and like their behind the scenes, everything's is, New York, Los Angeles, across the ocean. But just kind of being able to visit all these places, doing, actual creative work quality, big name quality, right in my backyard. It's crazy to think about that because there are just so many talented creative people out there and they're all, working on these great projects. And it kind of made my goal seem more reachable. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like these people, even like some of the people that I've met, they started out as I did, just creativity, and then they take that, they work hard, and then they're able to start these businesses or work for these businesses. So instead of me having to, travel 200 miles in one direction to, work with these big name people, there's some that are just, right down the street. So I guess the biggest part of it was just seeing how close it was. That was really eye opening.
Okay. So since then, 6 years ago, obviously you've grown into a young man. You're what, 22
Yes, sir.
years old, old enough to drink a beer,
Yes, sir.
and you've done a lot of really cool, interesting things. I've hired you on several occasions
Hmm.
to as a mentor to work with students
Hmm.
and some of the creative camps that we did in the past. And I wanted you to. You also were able to get accepted into the Cannes Film Festival in France.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted you to talk about that experience and how it happened.
Okay. Well, the main thing where I was doing the mentorship, it really showed me that, I could have a voice, in the creative industry, at least that small part of it. And when the CANS project came around with my old video tech teacher, Mr. Perez, it gave me, the strength to actually say, well, yeah, I could do this. I can lead a team of students and, actually go out in the community and raise awareness and make product and content, for this project. So it gave me the courage to be able to do that. And, working with the project, working in the actual business of it, because no longer was it, at at a group or, as a, how can I put it, as a program. It was an actual business, that was a nonprofit to get money to send these kids to the festival and whatnot. So it was a big eye opener in the professional field, and actually working through the project, working with the ups and also the downs. It was extremely stressful because it was, first year, we had to kind of build the plane as you're flying it, as people say.
Right.
And thankfully, at the end of it, it gave me the courage to say, well, I've come a long way since starting, back at 10th grade. Maybe I could make something and it be accepted. Since we're making the film to go to France, maybe I could put my own film to go on there. And, by the grace of God, I got two films successfully submitted there. So that was probably one of the biggest, like, just being really proud of myself, in a humble way, not in an egotistical way. It's just it's a nice reward to see how far I came.
Well, that's pretty amazing that you had two films accepted at the Cannes Film Festival.
Hmm.
A lot of folks go their entire lives and never have one film, and there you were. How old were you then?
I was, what was that, 2012, 2 years ago? So I was 20. I
You were 20.
recently turned 20.
Okay, so 20 years old, and you had two films at the Cannes Film Festival. That's pretty amazing. That's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
amazing. And I guess I want to take this opportunity to talk to you, Christian, because you're a naturally talented, extremely talented young man.
Hmm.
I think that you're what we call a multi-genius type of young man.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not saying that to flatter you. I think things come very easy to you. There are
Hmm.
things that you kind of just do,
Hmm.
and other people like struggle to do those things.
Hmm.
I know that you do that. You're able to do that visually. You can act. You can direct, and you also do music. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do film composing.
So, did you grow up playing music?
Well, I actually, in my church, a friend of mine there played piano a lot, and I was like, hey, I want to play piano. That looks fun. So I never really had someone to, to sit down there and teach me or, go to classes. I just, taught myself. And then in watching films, I love listening to the soundtracks and, hearing how you can portray so much, auditorily instead of just visually, which is so much in the film. And I kind of used that in learning the piano. I'd listen to a song over and over and over and just find the notes that match the song did. So it was just kind of building off of that. And then when I actually started into film composing, it was just using those elements that I have learned to love so much and applying them into the score and then eventually putting my own spin on it.
Right, right. Well, and you know, it's interesting. There's a dichotomy that I've seen with you and with other students that I work with, and I've experienced it when I was your age. Um, I was an all-state football player.
Hmm.
I was an all-state choir. I got an academic scholarship to college, so I could do lots of things, but still, I had issues, I guess, with confidence.
Hmm.
Even though I could do a lot of things very easily and better than a lot of my peers, um, I still had these issues where I quite didn't fully believe in myself.
Uh-huh.
Um, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think that's something that we talked about before. I
Hmm.
mean, you are 22 years old. I know that there are financial issues with attending college,
Hmm.
but we've talked about some of the fears that you have, and I wondered if you want to share, and whether or not I'm being accurate or not.
Oh, well, I would say you're completely accurate. Being, as you would say, a very talented person at such a young age, there's not much of that talent, in the businesses in the industry you want to get into. And then you always hear these success stories like the director of the movie Chronicle. I think he was like 28 when he made that. And, now he's, getting offered big budget jobs. So it's always that kind of you step up the ladder, you are going up, but as you go up the mountain, the journey gets more treacherous. So I think there's a consistent, kind of fear in myself of saying, well, am I able to take this next step? Will I be able to fully succeed or, believe in myself enough to make it possible? And I guess that's what makes how can I say, that's what makes the triumphs, the victories, that much more rewarding, because not only are you fighting to gain the respect of others, you kind of have to respect yourself in the way of, believing in yourself and, not second guessing your talent. If you're talented at this, put everything into it. And I would say it's a struggle, but it is a good, tool to use to motivate myself to do it. It's hard, but life ain't easy.
Right, right. So this is also something that I experience with a lot of the youth that I work with, is that a lot of you all are sort of in college,
Mhm.
but not really
Mhm.
in college. Can you talk about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, me myself, excuse me. I took 1 year of college getting out of high school, and I just didn't like it. I like to say myself, it was a little too soon, getting off out right out of high school and going into it. But that differs with each person. But a lot of the people that I've hung out with and I've seen, being very creative in multiple, fields. I mean, the experience in itself was, in all honesty, it was boring. To being someone's, who loves talent and creativity so much, when you're limited in your creativity, it's just like, staring at a gray wall instead of a mosaic. You kind of have to turn away, and once that happens, then the consistency, the passion for it drops. It's kind of like a kid playing with a lot of toys. He plays for it, gets bored, throws it away, goes to the next one. And that's something I haven't found yet, or that I want to look for. Even now I'm looking for colleges or trying to get back into a college that can utilate my creativity. Because in high school, I had music classes, the film classes, and that cheering me up and motivating me helped me to do better in my other classes. My math class, my writing classes.
Right.
Because there was a nice balance between the two. And that first year when I went to the community college, it was very unbalanced. And I even started to slacken, some of my film work. I started to do less creative things. And personally, myself, after that year, I started to focus a lot more on photography. Just hit something new to bring up back my motivation and my stamina, and learn so much from that. But it's a mixture of the the balance of the work and the creativity, but also my internal struggles were like you can't just take film classes in college. You have to do the other things. But if there's a good balance between the two, I can go forward and knock out both of them happily.
Right. Well, and this is something that my dad stressed to me about going to college is college is really just a symbol that you have the wherewithal to stick to something and finish it. And man, I have hired you to do work before, and there have been times where we've struggled with that.
Yes, yes.
And I know because you are a creative person and you get bored and it's hard for you to stay focused. But by the same token, if you're going to make a living, people have to be able to depend on you. And it's difficult. It's difficult to stay disciplined. So I know that you recently finished an internship. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Where was that internship at?
That was at McGarrett Jesse. It was an advertisement agency here in Austin, Texas.
And I because of some relationships that I have with folks there that care about what we're doing with E for Youth, and obviously you have loads and loads of talent, but they're willing to kind of take you under their wing and provide you with that internship experience. Um, but there were some difficulties for you there. Can you talk about that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess probably one of the main issues, was attendance. I live up here in North Austin. That was down in um, downtown, and without a car, it was taking the bus every day. So the inconsistencies there, to actually get there, get there on time, because the work don't stop till you get there. You got to keep going and working in a creative, team environment. Everybody's needs to rely on each other to get their part of the work done. You know what I mean? And there's no one to blame for that, but myself. And I used it as kind of a learning tool because you kind of have to look at yourself in certain situations. You can't just blame everything on, you know, other people. You have to take the initiative. So, it was a really big, eye-opening experience. You know, maybe didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but the reward behind, knowing how it is. They're actually doing great projects for great people, you know, and it's professionalism, and it's something we all have to learn. And I'm just happy that I learned it, that early,
Right.
And it's great to now take all that I've learned and see what happens next.
Right. Well, and it's there's an element of reinvention. I think there are times where sometimes we have opportunities and we run into setbacks,
Hmm.
and but ultimately it's how you overcome those setbacks that really defines who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I myself, in starting this organization, Lord knows I've had my setbacks. uh, you know, um, there's a point where I had a contract, um, and because I started with nothing, um, a $90,000 contract was significant
Hmm.
to me. But there were things that I was not ready for, um, and you know, I eventually lost that contract. But in the process of going through that, there were some great lessons that I learned
Hmm.
uh, from that. And even though you could call that on the surface a failure, um, there are some things that I was able to take from that and capitalize on those things. And I think that's the big thing about success that a lot of times um, we don't recognize sometimes
Hmm.
is that somebody who succeeds often fails a great deal before they succeed.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Uh,
And so, I always say to you and the other students that I work with, sometimes we need an environment where we can fail,
hmm.
where it's safe to fail.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that ultimately you're going to succeed. And I don't think that your experience at McGarrett Jesse was a failure. I do think that you gained a lot from it.
Hmm.
And just since then, I've seen um, more maturity
Hmm.
from you and more focus.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
You know? And so, you know, I just want to let you know that, hey, I'm proud of you, and I believe in you, Christian. You know, I absolutely believe in you, and I believe in all this the students that I work with. So, yeah, that was that was a good experience, and I think what you have the opportunity to do now is that you made an impression on a lot of people,
Hmm.
and um, a lot of that was good. Some of that was not as good in terms of the dependability factor.
Uh-huh.
But you have an opportunity now to really kind of go back and retool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
and come back stronger. And that's part of the lesson that I've learned. And you'll be amazed that people watch you.
Hmm.
People may watch you for years and never say a word to you, but
Yeah.
they're watching. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And so, I just want you to know that, hey, you're gonna be all right, man.
I appreciate that. It's always good to hear that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You are absolutely gonna be all right. Um, I do want you to get back into college
Hmm. Hmm.
and to finish college. I think that that's important. Um, and I think a big issue is also, I mean, what comes with college is the opportunity to be able to sustain have a good living. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you don't absolutely have to have a college degree in order to do that, but a lot of times that is your pass to get in the door.
Hmm.
You know, so you can be better at your job or at what you're doing than a lot of people, but if you don't have that credential, sometimes that can become an obstacle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, fortunately, in the creative field, what it really boils down to is the quality of your work
Hmm.
and also your work ethic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and the thing that was encouraging to me and the feedback that I heard is that there's never any doubt about your ability to do the work.
Hmm.
From everybody that I talked to, you're a very talented guy.
Hmm.
So if you can work on those other things, man, I just think the sky's the limit. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, and it's great to hear that because now I know a lot what to focus on, to put a whole lot of effort in there. Because if I do work on that kind of self character building, I guess it's kind of opening up a bigger door, and it's like, oh man, this is it. I can get these work because people now can respect it and can say, okay, well, if I need something done, I can rely on this guy to get it done and make it look good.
Right.
So having that thought is what's really spurring me right now to, you know, fix that flaw, in the system, and just kind of tightening the nuts and bolts, on the
Right.
machine, and it's helping a lot, even in the few months, I haven't been there that I've talked to you and I've talked to, Mr. Perez, my old teacher. It's a lot of things that no one really told me before, but now that I know, and someone's actually brought that to light, I can actually work on that, and I've gotten a lot better at it, and still getting better at it.
Right. Well, and I think for me, as the person who's been developing this program, that's something that we have to be more proactive about in communicating with the students. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
And I met you at the very beginning of this thing, so I was learning as I went.
Uh
And frankly, I was just trying to keep my lights on and gas in the car.
huh.
So I wasn't necessarily the best steward for communicating those little things that need to happen
Uh huh.
um, for students like you. Are your phone's ringing?
Oh, that's my house phone. It's okay.
House. But I think what now what I see for the organization is how do you develop a system where those things are addressed. And Lord knows I can't address them. It's how do you build a business model
Uh huh.
that's going to be scalable. So as students go through this process, that they're able to have those types of mentoring relationships
Mhm.
that are going to help them come to those realizations more quickly. So when they get in that first situation, And we experienced that same thing with another one of your compadres that came through the program at the same time, Gabriel,
Uh-huh.
who's actually still working there. He had a lot of anxiety
Mm-hmm.
um, when he started working there, and didn't feel like he belonged. Um, and it took. I'm glad that I was able to get to him in time,
Mm-hmm.
and really, we have to do regular check-ins with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the creative professionals that are out there in the community, that's where they can really become a great asset, because then they can be the ones that check in with you. It doesn't even have to be every week, once a month,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
just to be able to check in and say, hey, how are things going? We talked about what your goals are. Uh, what type of progress are you making?
Mm-hmm.
And having somebody in your corner and that's going to be consistent, and knowing you're going to be talking to that person in a few more weeks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't want to talk to them and say, oh well, I didn't do any of that that I said I was going to do. So yeah, so I think it helps keep you accountable. And I think, and I reflect on my own experience. Only in the last year do I have a real board of directors, and now we meet every month, and we're staying in contact, and that really helps me to stay focused
Mm-hmm.
on what's really important and the priority. So, I want you to know that the process of growing, it just continues, man. It never stops, and that's a good thing. That's a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we as black men in particular have issues with appearing vulnerable to people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I remember when I was in high school, I was a football player, blah blah blah. But it's hard to get a picture of me smiling. I was always like, man, I gotta look mean, 'cause I'm out there whipping some behind. And I think there's so much machismo in our popular culture uh, that's that's being promoted as hey, this is the way that we're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
and that is not necessarily true. And it's okay to be vulnerable, and ultimately, that vulnerability is what's going to allow people to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need help.
Yeah, yeah.
We all need help.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Christian, um, can you remember the first time you ever got paid to be creative?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. It was probably back in probably 2009. I think it was my junior and the second year of the actual organization, your organization.
Uh-huh.
And I remember you had started, actually bringing on businesses to, us to create campaigns for actual businesses. I don't remember which business it was. I think it was the Texas Parks and Wildlife. I think that
Oh,
might
okay.
have been the first one.
Yeah.
And you asked me to do like just a little trailer, for the event that was about to happen. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I did it, real quick, gave it to you, and you're like, okay, here you go, here's some money. I'm just like, what's that? I had never seen that before. It,
Right.
I guess it was so crazy having it happen in high school because usually you're doing the work for the grade, you're
Right.
doing it for an assignment, and actually it's okay. Well, here I told you to do this. You did it creatively, you did it well on time. Here's your reward. And that was crazy in itself because it opened up, the idea in my head that you can do what you love to do and be paid for it. it moved it from a hobby to an actual creative profession.
Right.
And once that happened, it's like, oh man, this is nice. This needs to happen more. And it did. It's picked up a lot since then. Now that even now, I'm doing business contract work with, other filmmakers out there, or, other businesses out there. So it's real nice to kind of see that transition happening. Where
Right.
you're no longer, being graded. You're actually doing the work and being rewarded for it by working together with these people.
Right. Hold on just a second.
No problem. No problem.
Well, speaking of the devil, Umberto Perez is here.
Oh, nice.
He's coming to pick me up and give me a ride to pick up my wife's car. But yeah, well, it was good to talk with you. I saw we had one viewer pop on. I'm not sure who that was while we were talking. I'll probably take this and edit it down and make it into like a podcast.
Okay.
But I think I asked you most of the questions that I like to ask folks when I do these creative interviews. I asked you about the first time you got paid. Other than, you talked about me mentoring you. You mentioned Umberto Perez, who's here in the room right now, as one of your mentors. Any other mentors that you can that have helped you in your creative path?
Oh man, there's no shortage of those. I mean, I don't want to start naming names. If I miss anybody, I'll feel bad. But I guess there's mentors on, the adult level, like you, Mr. Perez, even Brian Jesse, who I used to, work at his company with. And but even from some of the students, that I work closely, like Gabriel, you mentioned before, when I even went to work at McGarrett Jesse, and he knew a lot about it. He taught me so much. Even some of the younger kids that I was supposed to mentor have, said some things that got me thinking.
Right.
And that's something that you've always told me, and Mr. Perez has always told me, that you'll always have mentors. You always need mentors. The idea that the learning never stops, no matter how how far you get up there. And I guess that's a really good thing to know, that that you should know at the earliest. The learning never stops. When we think about reaching a goal, it's like we get there, we're there, and that's it. But it's not. It's just continual growth. As the world keeps spinning. So and having mentors there, no matter what age, experience they are, you can always learn something from them. And I guess that's probably one of the strongest, most motivating and encouraging things to have, and have that resource.
Awesome. Well, we kind of improvised on this hangout. We didn't get to really talk fully about the college mentoring program. But Christian, you are U for Youth alumni, and I would like to utilize you as a mentor this upcoming year. It allows you to earn opportunity to attend South by Southwest.
Yes, sir.
And also assist teachers that are working with creative youth like you. And I think with the experiences that you've had, you can provide them with a lot of great guidance, and be a role model for the students, and also help these teachers. The idea of college mentors in the classroom is not to give the teachers another person they have to teach. It's really for you to be there to provide support for the teacher. And also what comes with that, each spring we do this youth media project, and that allows, we're actually going to have that's actually going to be led by our college mentors, and that's going to be on a series of Saturdays. So you guys being in the classroom during the fall, you kind of become like our spies, if you will.
Okay.
And you're out there really helping us build rapport with the high school students, and helping us recruit them to participate in the Youth Media Project in the spring. So, I know we're right here. It's 4:58, so we're going to have to sign off here shortly.
Okay.
I know that we've had one or two viewers there, so we're not able to answer any more questions today. But I encourage you all to email me, Carl at e4youth.com, and I'll be happy to get on the phone with you, email, and also I'm showing you. I don't know if you can see the item that I've shown here. Let me pull up the web address where people can go and put that in here right quick. So if you go to this address, you should be able to. It should show up for you now. You should be able to get most of the information that you need. And if you're a teacher, if you hit the sign up tab, you can fill that out. That's basically a survey that lets us know when you need students, college mentors in your classroom. What exactly do you need them for? What are the skill sets that you're looking for to help assist you? And if you fill that out, we use that to match you with the right type of college mentor. We'll be following up, and if you look at the bottom of that page, there is an actual timeline with some dates there. So if you sign up, then we'll communicate with you about those dates. And a couple of Saturdays in September, 4 hours, we'll feed you. but for 4 hours, we're going to really help you train. And actually, Humberto Perez, who's one of my colleagues and a master teacher, and who taught Christian, is going to be there, and he is going to lead you through some exercises. And also on the second Saturday, actually, you'll start to meet who your mentors are and start to develop what your plan is going to be for the upcoming year. So, like I said, it is 5:01, so we're 1 minute past our time. Thank you for those of you that check this out, and we'll probably chop this up and make it into some bite-sized forms for you guys. And if you have any questions, don't forget you can email me at carl@e4youth.com. All right, we're signing off.
Have a good one, man.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, bye-bye.